What's up guys, it's time to take a look at the most underrated phone right now. I bring you the Oppo Reno, aka the perfect phone for the World Cup. Now when people are looking to buy a good phone with high-end specs that is also not too hard on kidneys, they go for a OnePlus phone. But this year we have something equally better and equally priced from the OnePlus sister company, that is the Oppo. So they shocked us all last year with the Find X, and now we got the Oppo Reno, their new 2019 flagship, which comes with an even cooler design compared to the last year model. The last year's model had a really good design but nothing else to offer. This time Oppo has definitely stepped up their game. Now the Oppo Reno comes with two versions. We have a Snapdragon 710 model, which I already unboxed, and the Snapdragon 855 model with 10x lossless zoom. There's actually a 5G version of this as well, which is currently the cheapest 5G phone on the market. So 10x lossless zoom along with ultra wide angle lens, wide angle lens, night mode that works with zoom and ultra wide angle mode. I mean, this has to be the most complete camera system on a phone. It reminds me of the Huawei P30 Pro. Because of the zoom and ultra wide angle lens, it has been the perfect phone for my trip to UK for Cricket World Cup. I was able to take crazy close-ups of players and stadium by sitting so far away, all thanks to the crazy zoom. It allows a maximum zoom of 60 times if you want to go that far, but you will lose quality of course. So up to 10x is the level where you don't lose quality. Along with a zoom, the ultra wide angle lens helped a lot in taking great shots of the stadium. Now it's not just the camera that makes this phone a really good deal. There are a lot of other things that I want to talk about as well. Now disclaimer, Oppo did sponsor my trip, but the review of this phone is my own. It's completely honest. Now let's talk about the design. Oppo definitely knows how to make a phone, how to make their phone stand out compared to the competition. Just like the last year's Find X, the Oppo Reno is in its own league. It has this green shiny button looking thing on the back that makes it stand out. Of course, it's not actually a button, but it looks good. It feels premium in hand, but a bit heavier compared to other flagships. I like the nice green colored power button, and just like the OnePlus 7 Pro, there is no headphone jack on this phone, but for some reason Oppo still provides headphone jack to the cheaper Snapdragon 710 version of the Reno. So no headphone jack on the bigger model, but you still get these stereo speakers, which are actually pretty decent. Now one of my favorite things about the Oppo Reno is its display. So it is almost bezel-less, 6.6 inch in size, 1080p HD plus AMOLED panel. It's pretty bright as well, but definitely not as good as the OnePlus 7 Pro's display or the Galaxy S10. I mean, there is nothing to complain about this, but it is not Quad HD, and it also doesn't have the 90Hz refresh rate of the OnePlus 7 Pro, so it's only up to 60Hz, which is fine. I mean, if you want that, then that is something specific only to the OnePlus 7 Pro right now. Still, despite that, overall, I really enjoyed the display on this phone. And now in order to have a notchless, bezel-less design, Oppo had to go with the movable camera system, and this has to be one of the coolest implementation. We have a shark fin camera design that comes out like a shark. I mean, it looks really good. A different approach indeed compared to what you normally see on a rising camera phone. And every time I open the front camera, it looks so cool. And especially if you're in public or if you're with your friends, it definitely has that wow factor. And just like with every other 2019 phone, this phone also rocks an in-display fingerprint scanner, and it has been pretty good, pretty fast so far. I've also dropped this phone a couple of times. If you look closely towards the top area, it does have some minor scratches, but thankfully no damage to the rising camera system at all. Now software wise, Oppo Reno is rocking Android 9.0 Pie based on its own Color OS skin, which is actually heavily inspired by iOS. You can see the control center, the notification panel on this one, very similar look, and honestly it looks kind of cool. I mean, a lot of stuff is still, of course, Android based. You have your app drawer and things. It's still Android 9.0 Pie, and it's really quick thanks to the Snapdragon 855 chip. I've already done a lot of speed tests against the Galaxy S10 Plus and the iPhone XS Max, so you can check those videos out. The Color OS has definitely improved, but I feel like it needs some more improvements, especially when you look at the settings UI. I feel like it's a bit overwhelming. Now, even though it runs Android 9.0 Pie, for some reason, there is still no dark mode option, which I see on pretty much every other phone. Hopefully Oppo will add that via software update in the future. Now what makes this year's Oppo flagship great is the camera. Like I said, it's the most complete camera system and I had a really good time during my trip. I took some great pictures and even in low light and night conditions, this phone did pretty good thanks to its night mode. Now as far as the videos are concerned, you can record a 4K video, but the zoom is only limited to 2 times, so you cannot do the 10x zoom while recording the video, which kind of sucks, so it only works in the photo mode. Another thing that is missing compared to the flagships is the ability to adjust the portrait blur after you take the photo, so that is kind of missing on this phone, which they can add via software update. But just overall, this camera is pretty good. I would say a solid A-grade camera thanks to all the options it offers. Now this is a thick phone, and the reason why it's thick is because it has a 4000 mAh battery, and I was able to get through the day during my trip. Even when I was taking a lot of photos and testing out the camera in UK, it still lasted me a full day of battery, and also supports 20 watts of fast VOOC charging. So guys, all in all, the Oppo Reno is definitely a great option at £699, similar price to the OnePlus 7 Pro. It doesn't have the 90Hz display, but it does have a crazy camera system. Apart from not having a dark mode, I really can't see anything missing from this year's Oppo flagship. It's definitely an underrated phone that can actually do a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.